Hey, what's up, guys? Rob Balasabas here with TubeBuddy. Really excited for you to tune into this conversation that Scott and I had with how you can use YouTube to grow your channel, grow your reach, and your influence as a real estate investor. So make sure you tune in.
This is the Note Closer Show, where you get the latest developments in distressed note investing and learn the secrets of how you can control millions of dollars worth of property for pennies on the dollar. Get educated and entertained by someone who has closed thousands of deals and lives to support you in achieving the same. Now, here's your host, CEO of We Close Notes, Scott Carson.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome to this episode of the Note Closer Show. As always, Scott Carson, excited to be here with you today. And you guys, if you've known me long enough, or you follow me on Facebook or on YouTube or listening to the podcast or listening on the radio network, hopefully you've checked out the website and you see and know how valuable I know that video has been for us, not only in getting the word out what we're doing and teaching people the note business, but also on the real estate side of business. You know, for years, I was known as the note guy from the YouTube videos I did, teaching people or walking around properties and note deals and just sharing the story along the way. And I'm so excited. I can tell you, I feel like a little kid in a candy store, because when you talk with like-minded people, you get a chance in the community of marketers out there to meet somebody who's as passionate, if not probably more passionate about specific things than you are, you get excited to spend some time with us. So I'm honored for the next 30 to 45 minutes to have our special guest join us on here and share some of his insight, because from him and what he's provided, and it's helped my channel, my marketing go to a whole new level the last 24 months. And I'm talking about the man, the myth, the TubeBuddy legend, Mr. Rob Balasabas out there. If you don't know him, he's a brand evangelist for TubeBuddy. He's in charge of the partnership growth manager at TubeBuddy and speaks at various conferences, summits, podcasts, and live streams. He's also the host of a very valuable TubeBuddy's Creators Corner live show as the weekly TubeBuddy 101 live training sources. So I'm honored to have this guy who's not only an awesome marketer, but he's also a dad, a husband, and a coffee connoisseur. So Rob, welcome to the Note Closer Show, man.
Scott, thank you, man. I'm going to need that recording for every introduction now. That's amazing. Yeah, thank you so much for having me on the show. Super excited to talk to you about, YouTube and videos, and definitely a few things I'd love to share. And yeah, excited to be hanging out with you, man.
Yeah, we'll dive right into this here. So when I'm sure you look at hundreds of channels throughout a month, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's marketers or real estate investors or speakers or podcasts, what's the thing that kind of just jumps out at you, just like, oh, what's like the number one thing that's your pet peeve when you see with people when they're screwing up on their YouTube channel?
My pet peeve, and it's not because I think people mean to do it, but because I used to do this a lot, is like super long introductions, right? Yeah, I get it. I totally understand why. You want to make sure you validate and give credibility to why you're about to speak about something, but it's like, this is what I do, and this is me, and I've grown X amount of businesses to, 7 figures and stuff. Like 2, sometimes 3-minute introductions before people deliver what they said they would deliver in the thumbnail and the title. And so that's the biggest pet peeve for me, and I feel really bad because I'm sure the watch time is very low for those videos.
Right.
I learned that my introductions used to be 2 minutes long ish, and I still have those videos up. And all the comments, there's like, "Hey guys, just fast forward to 3 minutes. You're welcome." It's like, okay, get it. I'm just gonna keep it on here because people need to see that struggle. So yeah, that's my pet peeve.
Well, no, that makes a lot of sense. Getting directly to the point, leave the introduction and bio to the end a lot of times. But I think a lot of people forget the fact that if you're speaking and people are already on your channel, you've already got a little bit of credibility. Or if you're speaking on another podcast or a event, you've got credibility because you're on stage, virtually or in person, right? And I think if you're new to that, I got to make sure that I show value. Just get to the shit, right? Get to the stuff, right?
right. That's right. Yeah, just get to it. Just get to it. You know, all the videos, like I mean, we'll talk about some video best practices and stuff, I'm sure, but just get to it. Just get to it. And then people will connect with you. Your content will show, your knowledge, whatever you're sharing, it'll just show, and then people will make the decision. They're not going to decide to click or to subscribe or to stay listening based on your introduction and based on what you've done. They just want to hear, because YouTube is a search engine, so they're looking up things, they're looking up questions, and then just get to the answer, and then they'll appreciate that. They'll watch maybe more videos of you and start seeing more of your videos get recommended to them and stuff like that. That's how YouTube works, you know. So yeah, definitely just get to the value. Keep like hammering value. Give it all away.
Now, besides getting to the direct point, now we obviously, I think it being under a minute, 30 seconds or a little thing is usually probably a good start there for you. What do you, if you, I don't know, you may not have the analytics, and I know it's going to vary by channel and how long, but if you're seeing people spend time on a channel, what's a good kind of minute length that people are hanging out? 2 minutes, 30 seconds. I know it'll vary for some of the different stuff, but if you look at your channel overall,
introductions,
what's a good kind of, I guess you could say gauge post time wise? 6 minutes, 12 minutes, 3, what?
Oh, gotcha. For the length of a video, yeah, that ranges a lot. That ranges a lot. Like, it could be 4 minutes, 5 minutes. One of the things I look at is the average watch time for my videos, for my personal channel, not TubeBuddies, but my personal channel. Look at the average watch time, right? So you can tell, like, hey, on average, people watch 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and then they dip out, right? On all my videos. So then, like, start there, right? Start there. Okay, now from now on, I want to make sure that 3 minutes, because like your average watch time for your channel could be 3 minutes, 4 minutes, but then the average video is about 15, 20 minutes. Like, oh man, that's too short. So then now if your average watch time is 3 minutes, then maybe moving forward, start there. So like make a 3 or 4 minute video, but then that like make sure that everybody watches like as close to 100% as possible. Once that happens, then your videos will just get served more, because then YouTube will say, hey, this is a good product, right? Every video is kind of like a product on your shelf. If you look at your channel as a store, like every video is a product. So like you show YouTube like, hey, my product right here, this video, people are watching like 80-90% of it. So go like share this away, right? Because YouTube, you got to understand, what does YouTube want? There's 3 players here, right? There's you, there's your viewers, and then there's YouTube, right? This is YouTube's house. So like YouTube, what does YouTube want? YouTube wants like people, the viewers, to binge watch on YouTube. They don't want people to leave. So if your product, your video keeps people like watching, then like they're gonna just like, hey, this is a good video. It worked here with Scott. Let me share it with other people that are like Scott, that are into the same thing, because we know that this video statistically performs really well. So it keeps people engaged. So if they've watched that video, cool. What else does Scott have? Does he have other videos in this topic? Maybe something related. Let's serve it to this guy. Same viewer again, right? Because we know Scott performs really well with his videos. So focus on that, start there. And then as you earn that, that right to hold someone's attention for longer, then start playing around with like a 6-minute video, 7-minute video. There's a thing too, Scott, though, like, right now, if people have a monetized channel, meaning like you can run AdSense to your videos, there's a minimum 8 minutes is, as a time of this recording, 8 minutes is the minimum length of a video where you can put what's called mid-roll ads, where like you can put AdSense in the middle of the video, throughout the video. And so a lot of people are like, I want to make a video that's minimum 8 minutes, so I can put a couple more extra ads in the videos. That can be part of your strategy. But again, if people aren't even getting to the 3 or 4 minute mark, they're not even seeing the ads, so it doesn't even matter, right? And it hurts your channel. So yeah, look at your average, like right now, right after this video, then just take a look at your analytics. What's your average watch time? And then start there. Like if it's 3, 4, 5 minutes, make that length of a video, but try to make it so that people watch the entire thing. Now that's a bigger exercise, because you got to look at your videos and why you got to look at your editing. You got to look at all those things. Like you may need to take things out that are repetitive. You may need to add some like animations, some transitions, that sort of thing, to keep people engaged. So yeah, that's where I would start.
I love that, but let's dive in. You said keeping
Sure.
people engaged is all about kind of grabbing that attention. And obviously, if you've got content and you're searching for it, it's great. But how important is the title and really focused on the title? Or one mistake I made early on is I would just throw stuff up there with a decent title, but I would leave stroke face. I didn't have a good thumbnail. I just whatever, I just left it there. And it's like, oh, whatever, we don't need it.
Yeah.
And the both are important, aren't they?
Both are very important. So the titles serve a couple different purposes. So the titles, typically what we teach people that are using TubeBuddy in our different sessions is titles are two parts. So there's the first part, which serves the algorithm. So that's the searchable keyword. This is why you would use Keyword Explorer inside of TubeBuddy. The second part, and this comes directly from YouTube, is that the second part is the compelling part of your title, right? So, for example, live streaming tools. For example, let's say that's the keyword. Live streaming tools. That's the searchable part. People might be looking like, live streaming tools for free, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then that's the searchable part. The compelling part is, 5 live streaming tools that you can use for free. It's like, okay, cool. That's like, it's got the keyword there that's searchable, that YouTube likes, serves the algorithms. But then now what happens is, like, even if your videos show up in search, right? Somebody searches that and then your videos show up. Now you gotta, now your challenge is to make that person and strike some emotional thing, reaction to them, that they actually click into your video. So, that's why, you got to look at other videos. You're like, okay, so, for a lot of tutorials and tools and gear, it'll be like, I bought this camera. Is it worth it? Right? Like Canon M50 review. Is it worth it? That kind of thing, right? Facebook ads, the biggest mistakes I made, or the mistakes I regret, so there's like, not clickbait, but like compelling, right? So you don't want to mislead. I think the difference with clickbaity titles is that they're misleading.
Yeah.
The image is misleading, it has nothing to do with the video itself, but it makes people click, which also hurts your channel. But yeah, so that's the thing with titles.
It makes a lot of sense. Now, I'm not, you're the brand ambassador for TubeBuddy over there. And I discovered TubeBuddy about 2 years ago, and absolutely love what it has done for my channel, because I've actually used it. We all have a million plugins or things that we use, but I use it on a daily basis sometimes when I'm uploading, or after I've uploaded, when I get around to editing a video or getting it to go live. I really love some of the features. Could you, for those that don't know what TubeBuddy is, could you explain a little bit about what it is and some of the cool features?
Yeah, sure. So TubeBuddy has been around for about 6 years. The founders have been in the YouTube software space for about 10 years. And we have, right now, we have over 5 million channels that have installed TubeBuddy, which is insane, which is actually, as big as a number that is, the number of channels on YouTube is actually way, way, way more. So it's just a drop in the bucket. But yeah, we have over 80 different tools. So there's a lot of tools, right? There's a lot of tools inside of TubeBuddy. Anything from like Keyword Explorer. There's also SEO Studio, which basically makes it super easy or straightforward to optimize your videos for search. There's A/B testing, really all aspects of being a creator, managing all your comments, all that stuff. So yeah, it's been awesome tool, and we're continually, as YouTube grows and changes and features change with YouTube, we're basically right in line with them, making sure that those changes translate to our platform as well. So yeah, that's what TubeBuddy is. And we have a really awesome community, Scott. I mean, we're, community inside of TubeBuddy, but also the team members, me, Andrew, Judah, Renee, we're all creators ourselves before we joined TubeBuddy. So it's just kind of built into us. Like, we just love doing these kind of things and collaborating. And you see us doing that on our channel, off our channel, different community groups and things like that. So yeah, that's a little bit about kind of what TubeBuddy is.
Yeah, it's a beautiful tool because most people will upload stuff and they'll put a title in, maybe not put a big description in, and forget about the keywords,
Yeah.
or the terms that they need to put in their description. And for me, that was one of the biggest things that really helped me identify uh, what my video was about. What are the key terms that are ranking high that I can add into the options or put into the descriptions, put into the title help, all that stuff has helped out tremendously. But as I was mentioned beforehand, I went from less than 1,000 subscribers to 4,200 in less than 24 months.
That's crazy.
We average about 150 subscribers a month, 3 to 5 people a day.
Wow.
And that's not big as some of the other bigger real estate niches, but I'll take 3 new people subscribing to my channel each day. It's a drop in the bucket, but it all adds and they're very engaging. And we see about somewhere between a 10 and 15 minute viewership engagement rate. And our videos are, usually 30 to 45 minutes long. So I'm kind of pretty happy with that.
That sounds like great numbers, man. Yeah, it's not all about having a huge channel, right, Scott? Like, it's about building the community and like loyalty with your community and your audience. And if you're looking at it as a business, which most people are, it depends on what your offering is as well. Like I'd rather have, 1,000, 4,000 people that are really engaged than like, 1,000,000, 100,000, that are just like kind of passively checking out some videos and things like that, watching a minute or two here and there. So yeah, especially in your space, Scott, not gonna lie, like, I mean, I don't know the margins and the numbers and all that stuff, but if you're in real estate or investments, like, where, potentially high ticket, for every, value for, for every customer or client, you don't need a play button, right? Like you can have a very successful business using a relatively smaller channel size in terms of subscribers, and do really well. So yeah.
That's one of the things I've heard from people, like, oh, I don't have time to market. And I'm like, listen, you have to incorporate, you've got to have video of some sort in your marketing these days, because especially with what we do with finding deals in different parts of the country or also raising capital, obviously location. If you can start in your warm market, that's always a good thing, getting the word out. But especially since we're buying assets in Indiana or California or Florida, and we're 4-hour flight away, being able to share that video that you can create about the asset or a walkthrough or something like that and sharing it in other markets is important to get the word out, to get the engagement. And you don't have to have 1,000, you just got to be using that tool a lot. Correct?
That's right. Yeah. You got to leverage, you can't be everywhere all the time. You can't, you got to leverage videos, right? Like, and, beyond that, even this goes for across anyone that's trying to do business, is that, you got to be top of mind. You got to build trust. Building trust takes a long time, right? Like, there's a lot of people that do a lot of service type businesses or consulting, or, where they're putting deals together, and trust is a big factor. And so you can't get on calls with, tons of people every single day, every single week. But if you're creating videos where they can see your face, they can hear your voice, they can see your body language, all those things, that's doing that work of, slowly, steadily building up trust. Now you add on the fact that you're sharing honest, real, valuable information for free, through YouTube. That trust factor is getting built up. And then when that time comes, when people need to make a decision like, hey, I want to do this deal, or I need this service, that you're going to be, hopefully you're the one that they're going to think of. And like, you know what, you've already built so much leverage by giving them free information. Then they're going to be like, well, his paid version, or like the paid like channel of working with this person, this expert, must be like super crazy. It must be like so over the top, so much more value. And Scott, we talk to a lot of people that are, selling information or doing coaching. They do YouTube, and they share all this stuff on YouTube, and people are like, as your community builds, they're like, I want to pay you. Like, as much as we think people want free information and free, naturally, I think most people feel like, man, I've taken so much. How can I give back to this person? How can I, do you have a Patreon? Do you, it's like, do you have courses? Do you have a book I can buy? So yeah, build that leverage, build that trust using videos, share the knowledge that you have, because it's already out there. Your competitors are already sharing it anyway. So share it out there and then build that trust. It'll open a lot of doors for you for sure.
Yeah, I 100% agree with what you're talking about there, Rob. And I think that's why I tell people, like, listen, start sharing your journey. You know, that's what people love. And we get phone calls and emails all the time. I've been following you for 6 months. I had one lady call me. She goes, "You're the only white boy I let in my bedroom at night." And I started laughing about that. And I was like, "You're married too?" She's like, "Yeah, me and my husband love watching you at night." I started laughing about that. But build that kind of rapport with people without that one-on-one conversation, and that one to the masses leads to the really valuable one-on-one conversations. If somebody's looking to start a new channel, start things, you have any like recommendations on maybe a couple quick I mean, we talked about getting some short videos up there, but any idea like the top 5 or 6 things they might need to throw on their channel, like story wise, a little bit?
100%. The first thing is look at your daily work, like your daily, like your emails, social media, phone calls with clients, if you're not like your customers, what are they asking? What's the thing that they ask you all the time when people like, if you have a website, like you must have an FAQ, frequently asked section. Make videos on that, because that gives you a reason to share that video. Like make videos, yes, to, show up on YouTube and be found in search and all that stuff. But like initially just make videos, especially if you're in that space, to just save yourself time, right? So that, if people are asking you like the most basic questions, to you, they're very basic. And you're like, why? Like nobody's like, but look at your emails, look at your DMs, make short videos that answers those questions. So then they're on YouTube. But then when people email you and they're like, hey, I want to set up a consultation, and, this and this, and then, you can send them like maybe 3 or 4 videos from your YouTube channel that answers and brings and kind of educates them so that they are at the level where it's worth your time to talk to them, right? You kind of have to use it as a way to filter some of the inquiries that come in, so that you're not talking to somebody and then you realize like, an hour later, 2 hours later, like they're not a fit for me, right? So somebody reaches out to you about like an opportunity or like, hey, I have this property or I have this opportunity. Cool, awesome. Like, hey, here's a few of my videos, just so you know how I run my business, this is how I do things. And then they can watch that. Once you've watched this, click this link. Let's set up a call. But I want to make sure you watch this so you know what I'm about, and that, I don't want to waste any of your time. And then at the same time, it's multi-purpose because then it's also on YouTube and it's on the search engine. And so it's also going to generate you some more viewership and build you an audience there. So that's where I would start, Scott. Just like answer questions that people ask you regularly. Like we do that here at TubeBuddy. I'm on the affiliate side of things. So I'm always getting common questions. People are like, hey, Rob, like, how do I put, my affiliate link with my coupon code? And I'm like, oh, okay, well, I've answered this like 8 times this week. Let me just make a video. And then now I just use that video. So save yourself time. That's the best way.
One of the greatest things that we've done and teaching a lot of our students is for them to put together like a pitch deck video where they take a slide share or a PowerPoint, and it's a 20-minute video kind of talking about who they are as an investor or as a business, what they're focused on, and maybe a soft pitch at the end for the hook. And we've had a lot of people, record it once because the same question that they're being asked, tell us about your business. Yeah. And then sharing that video across from the other platforms like Bigger Pockets or Connected Investors or LinkedIn, or having it be the main video that plays in their channel so that it's something that's playing on a regular basis, not only to find investors, but raise capital. And no matter what niche you're in or what your focus is, I think you'd probably agree. It's good to have something that you're going to be saying on a regular basis that plays all the time, huh?
Yeah, that's it. There's a lot of value in that, and also again, time saving, but also this is like trust building, and I think that's like probably the main thing here with what with the audience that you have, Scott, is like trust building. Like again, personal story, right? Like I just create videos because I create tutorials, and it's just. For me, I love software. I love all the tools that I get to share and use. Yeah. And so my personal channel is all about like, helping creators just be better creators. Never thought about like, hey, it's going to open doors and all this stuff and like all the opportunities. And because you never know who's watching. I'm sure you've experienced this, Scott. Like you never know who's watching. People will reach out to you and they're like, hey, I want to do this thing. Been watching your stuff or like listening to you on your podcast for years. Like I never knew. You've never commented. I've never seen your name. And then, all of a sudden they'll come out and like, hey, let's do this thing. I want to invite you to this thing or this event or the conference or whatever. So yeah, you just never know. So yeah, just put it out there, do the work of putting it out there, saving yourself time. And again, it'll just do the work for you. That's the awesome thing about YouTube.
Yeah, that happened today. Somebody commented on a video that I didn't know followed, and they invited me to be on their podcast. I was like, whoa, okay, yeah, I'm excited about this.
Yeah.
On a video that was released, and we had a good, connection over Instagram as we are going back and forth, and nice. YouTube, and we haven't talked, but we've already booked on each other's show. And I'm like, this is going to be great. What did I do in that video that was so well? You know what I mean?
You never know. Yeah.
Now, would you recommend that people, if they're in a niche, going and kind of stalking their peers or competitors, 100%. And if they see a video that's done really well, like replicating that video or doing something different?
Yeah, this is a really good question, Scott. Like for YouTube, there's a lot to be said about trending topics. So, you'll see, like, for example, you'll see, if like a social media platform changes something, you'll see a lot of creators in that space talking about that one change, right? It's not rocket science because people are searching for it.
Right.
So if you see somebody in your space and one of their new videos is really just killing it, what a lot of creators will do is like they won't watch the video, but they'll just look at the title and like the topic and like what it's all about. Because what happens is a supply and demand thing, right? So there's a lot of demand for this topic and like videos and content around this topic, and so somebody will watch this thing, and then naturally YouTube is going to be like, okay, cool. Like, it looks like you want to watch more of these videos, but we don't have any more. So, so if you create a similar video around the same topic, then then your competitors are also like, you're helping each other because you're kind of like, they're going to be the next video after somebody watches yours. Their video will be fed as the next one and vice versa. A lot of creators, so my tip is like, if you don't want to be, is a personal thing, but most people, and myself included, I'll look at the topic, but I won't watch the video because I don't want to be swayed as to what I say.
Right.
So I don't want, and also I don't want to be accused of like, hey, you just copied my video, So like, I never watched your video actually. So, and out of respect, I'll watch it after, but I don't want my opinion to be swayed by what they said or like, So I'll just look at the topic because I think that's the most important part. But yeah, definitely, like, by all means, if there's like something happening in a specific state, there's a new regulation that changed around, real estate or investing, or like there's a new development or something like that, like definitely create content around it because people are looking for that right now. So yeah, and it's going to help your competitors or people that are in your niche, and vice versa, for sure.
I love that. Yeah, I agree. And I love what TubeBuddy does when I'm typing in, the tags and keywords and stuff like that, how it will like auto-populate some stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, that would be a great video. Let me just do that. Let me make a list of some of these things, and I'll do extra videos that follow up that rank high in that. And it's a really valuable thing that's helped me with content. And that's kind of the next question. What are some of you, besides looking what's trending and stuff like that, somebody's like, I don't know what the heck to talk about. We talked about FAQs. We talked about what's hot. But when you get beyond those two things, let's talk about some of the things that maybe you use to create topics or ideas for your channel.
Yeah. Like, there's two things right away. Like the keyword explorer, again, it'll make you like, if I type in, because my space, for example, is like, LinkedIn marketing, right? If I type LinkedIn marketing, all of a sudden because we have direct access to YouTube data and Google data, it'll start suggesting other things people are searching. And just like if you went to Google or YouTube, you'll get suggestions as soon as you start typing. Same thing. So I get a lot of ideas there. We also make recommendations based on your channel, because when you install TubeBuddy, then it overlays on top of your YouTube channel. So we know the data of your channel as well. So based on that, we'll make some recommendations. So if I search LinkedIn marketing, it'll make recommendations. LinkedIn marketing for entrepreneurs, LinkedIn marketing for small businesses, LinkedIn marketing using videos. All of a sudden it's like, okay, cool. Let's talk about videos. People are searching that. LinkedIn marketing using Facebook ads, something. So, so really hone in. If you identify your audience, this is again, Scott, like one step back is I understand your audience. Like before we went on, you knew your audience, like, you know, their age demographics, you know, what they like, have an avatar of your audience, understand who they are. My audience on my personal channel, for example, are 25 to 40-year-olds that are savvy marketers, but they don't understand videos and how that fits. So that's who I'm talking to. I'm just talking to somebody kind of like myself, and like, what would I want to know about, you know? So, you know, just start creating, like, answering questions for that one person in your mind, and then what happens, Scott, is like also the comments. Be very sensitive to comments and questions in the comments, because you're always, unless you make that perfect video, a really good video should incite new questions. You should answer the immediate question that somebody asked to search, and then it should give them ideas, and then it should incite some new questions. So then hopefully they go into the comments like, hey, Rob, that was really good, but like, how about LinkedIn marketing for somebody in the yoga space? Like, does that make sense? Like, okay, then, okay, cool. Like, maybe that's an interview. Maybe that's a video. Maybe I pull somebody that's a yoga expert using LinkedIn well and interview him on my channel or her. So look at the comments, and that's going to be a gold mine for more videos, future videos that you can make.
Yeah, I love that. I like going in and making, you know, hey, what questions do you have, or who do you know?
Yeah.
Especially if we're doing YouTube live, a live stream, going back and asking questions, but also going back and always trying to make sure that I'm answering questions or connecting with those that are taking the time to leave a response, because not everybody does. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And if I can add one more thing, Scott, it just came
Yeah.
to mind, is like, try and play around on YouTube with live streams, just YouTube live streams. Okay. You can schedule them ahead of time. They can be really polished, or you can just pop up live, you know, you can go directly to YouTube, I believe, or your mobile, and just live stream. One of the things that I think really did well for my personal channel to grow is doing live streams on a weekly basis. It's just like real-time engagement, and it's a really good way for you to understand your audience, and they get to ask you questions, and then you're like, hey, that's a really good question, can't really cover that here, but it's really good. Didn't know that you were wondering about that. Didn't know that that is a, you know, if one person asks you a question, there's usually a few others that are too shy to ask it in the crowd. So, you know, don't underestimate that one question that was kind of like vague and weird and like out of the blue, because it's also a reflection of how they see you as an expert in that space. Like, they wouldn't ask you if they didn't think you would have the answer. So, so yeah, live stream. Think about live streams. Now, live streams, whole nother topic. It can stay on your channel after the live stream, or you can just hide it, or you can delete it altogether if you don't want it there. So that's up to you. But yeah, definitely think about implementing some live streams too.
And this is a little bit different. We've talked a little about LinkedIn, and I see the bottle over there with the LinkedIn logo on there. Do you have any insight to get approved for LinkedIn Live?
Oh man. Oh, I'm in the middle of that right now, actually, to be super transparent. So I have had, I applied for LinkedIn Live, I guess, sort of like early-ish, like it was like in May, I want to say May 2019. And not too many people were even aware that you could apply, and there was a thing. So I got approved within 4 weeks, which seems long, but I know. But now I'm in the other side, and people would be like, hey, like, Rob, how do you get, you know, do you have any? I'm like, I don't know. I just applied. Like, but now I'm trying to get LinkedIn Live for the TubeBuddy business page. I'm like on my 4th rejection. So I'm like, I'm right there with you. I don't know who to reach out to. I got no tips.
You know, that's the thing. I've applied twice. I've never even gotten rejected. I don't know. I apply, nobody reaches out. But I think that was honestly, I think LinkedIn missed the boat this last year with you seeing more videos going live and the live streaming and Zoom, where they're being so selective. I think it really hurt their channel because people went other places to share on a regular basis, right?
Yeah. I think so too. I mean, it's tough. I get what they were trying to like see and like make sure it was like, you know, the right people and stuff, but yeah, it should have been a little bit more streamlined. So we'll see. Yeah, I got no tips though. Just keep applying. That's what I'm doing
exactly
with the TubeBuddy channel.
Do you think the recording of shorter videos, 10 and 15 minutes, and then uploading them there to LinkedIn is helping out people that have gotten approved for things? Because you can't upload long videos to LinkedIn besides doing an external link and having doing a live video on YouTube, downloading it, and then uploading the 10-minute video, do you think that that helps people out a little bit?
Yeah, I think that helps out people a little bit, just to be visible. I know that part of the application though, people did want they were asking where else are you live streaming to, and kind of see and like share the links, and we do that. Looking back, when I did apply, I wasn't as heavy on YouTube as I was. Like I wasn't as heavy in terms of creating on YouTube as I was. So maybe that's why. But now maybe since I'm doing a lot more on YouTube, maybe that's hurting my appetite.
They're trying to herd the views towards
LinkedIn. Yeah. I mean, of course, like Facebook and all the platforms, they don't want you to leave their platform. Right. And so, but that's kind of what I thought, like LinkedIn, like, hey, if you want more live streamers, then let's just, open up the gates and let's have more live streams on here. And, I've seen some people that do it really well, but yeah, I think there definitely should be more people there that should be approved, but we'll see what happens this year.
Exactly. Now, one of the things I love about YouTube, which is different than a Facebook Live or an IG story, or even that, is the 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week advertising really that YouTube is doing to go throwing views at you, versus like a Facebook Live video that might stick around for 24 to 40 hours before it gets really buried down in content. And that's why I think going to YouTube and then sharing to other places better, because I think YouTube is going to have the bigger bang for the buck compared to things. What's your advice on that, or your counsel?
Yeah, no, that's exactly my thought. Like when I first started, I really was very much creating LinkedIn content, and did really, did fairly well there. Felt like, really got a lot of traction in building my community and my personal brand, and getting, really good opportunities. But then started looking at it that the shelf life was not that long for videos that you upload to LinkedIn or Facebook directly. It might be good, might be relevant. You might still get like some views in the next like 48, 72 hours. After that, because it is a feed, right? Yeah. It's a feed. It's not a search engine. You're not going to go to LinkedIn and search, how do you invest in real estate? Like it just doesn't happen. People will go to YouTube or Google for that. So I was like starting to think like, okay, well, I'm putting this much effort into creating these videos for LinkedIn. It lasts 24, 48, 72 hours. Is there another place where it can last longer? Obviously, YouTube came up, and then that's when I started really, shifting more to creating on YouTube, but then still using LinkedIn. I think definitely for people that are in this space, you put that long form full video on YouTube, and then you take the 20, 30 second like value bomb drops from that video, and then chop it up and then upload that to LinkedIn, and then just like hit people really hard, real quick. If you want the full video, or, the other 4 tips that I shared, head over to YouTube. And then that's like the basic funnel, like, 30-second clips on LinkedIn, driving to the full video on YouTube, and you just do that all day. Then that's how you're going to do it. Because people are like LinkedIn, if you're on LinkedIn versus YouTube, you're going to be like, okay, I'm about to watch some YouTube videos. I'm just going to sit down, I'm going to consume and binge watch. Yep. I'm going to put stuff on my playlist. I'm going to like, in the queue. But that like LinkedIn, people are scrolling, right? And so it's like, it's scroll. It's like Facebook. So they're not, the behavior for them is that they're not there to binge watch 10, 15-minute videos. They're there like something catches them, 30-second value bomb drop, use captions, because people are surfing on mobile. With the audio off usually on LinkedIn. So use, captions. And then that's it. And then like, hey, if you want the full thing, head over to YouTube. So that's what I would use. That's how I try to use LinkedIn, and it works well. And same thing, if you want to use like, if you're using Instagram stories, Facebook, all of these platforms are one category. And then the YouTube is on its own, because the behavior on YouTube versus all those other platforms in terms of consumption is very different. And YouTube is kind of on its own still for now. So.
Yeah, but it's got some great stuff with, and you can see that YouTube with the live streaming and the YouTube Red, and especially these days, people getting rid of cable because of negativity, and then binge watching stuff on YouTube on their Roku or smart TVs these days. It really makes it nice for a lot of things, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Now, what are some, like, let's talk about, we got just a few minutes left here before we get to wrap it up, but what would you say be 1 or 2 big things that you're like, don't ever do this with your channel?
Yeah. I would say when it comes to YouTube, just don't be promotional. just don't be promotional. That goes across all the, all the platforms, but definitely on YouTube. Don't be promotional, because somebody could watch that's been watching for a long time, like a long time subscriber, or somebody that just came across you because, your video was suggested on another video they just watched, or they searched you and you came up. So just deliver value. Don't be super promotional. People can smell that kind of stuff like from afar, like really far away, and they'll tune out, right? If they feel like they're being sold to. So teach rather than sell. That's my main thing. And then, yeah, just introductions. My introductions now, Scott, is like maybe 30 seconds. Like, hey guys, today I want to talk to you guys how you can get brand deals using affiliates. Let's get started. And then what you may want to do is, rather than like saying like all the make sure you subscribe, notification, like just use like little animations. You can get them like if you search, there's marketplaces, you can get like animations for like a few bucks, and the little subscribe, notification bell, graphics. Just use that, and that saves you some time as well. And then you get to the value right away. So those are two big things. If you're just starting out, just don't sell, and get to the point as quickly as possible.
One of the things I love about TubeBuddy too is how you guys have gamified the platform a little bit, awarding awards for views and downloads, or views and subscribers and videos and stuff like that. It helps with the accomplishment. And then you guys do a good job rewarding that in your channel there too, under your Facebook group. Like, hey, share your most recent award, and it helps you connect with some. Like I saw that, I was like, oh my God, and I connected like 20 people really fast.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I got some great tips from other people out there too. So I love that.
Yeah. I mean, YouTube is a team sport, It's like you gotta have a community, or else it's gonna be a real tough ride, because YouTube is a long play. So you gotta have some people on your side, in your corner. And so we just try to do that. Like I said, Scott, like we're all creators behind the scenes at TubeBuddy, and so we understand like we need some people, along the journey for sure.
Now, I've seen this. We have seen this pop up recently, where you have the community tab on my YouTube channel, and I'm like, oh, hey, this is kind of cool. Is there a specific number, subscriber amount you've got to have it? Because I've seen other people, and I'm like, talked about, hey, do you have a community tab? And they don't have it. So can you explain that a little bit for folks?
Yeah. So the community tab on your YouTube channel, you need 1,000 subscribers. Once you get that, about a week or so after you hit 1,000 subscribers, then then you get the community tab. So that's really it. There's a lot of like other things that you unlock, features, like there's monetization and things like that, that you unlock as you go along the road of YouTube. But that's one of the most important ones. If you want to build sort of like, if you want to have a community tab, or maybe you don't care about it, because maybe you're growing a Facebook group and that's where your community lives. So another big thing, make sure you are building those community and having connections. There's a big difference, Scott, and like, this is something like that we talk about a lot too, is that there's a difference between like subscribers and community members. Subscribers are consumers, but like somebody is part of your community, they're loyal, they participate, they advocate, share your content. There's a big difference. So you want to make sure you are making those connections too, so but 1,000 subscribers, you get your community tab.
I love it. Rob, we can sit here and talk all day about the different things, but I know you've got a busy schedule ahead of you, jumping on something else here. Yeah. What's the best way for people to connect with you? I know we'll have all your channels and the links you provided in the description below and stuff like that, but what's the best way for people to connect with you, to find out more about what you're creating and connecting with you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. First, Scott, thanks so much, man. Always an honor to be on someone's show. So thanks for the invite. If anybody wants to connect, send me a DM look me up on Instagram or LinkedIn. And that's the best place, honestly, to connect with me. If you have any questions, just fire away. And if I can't answer it, I'll direct you to somebody who I think can. And super approachable and reachable.
Yeah, he totally is, guys and gals out there. And I tell you, you heard me preach about it. It goes back 4 years ago when Kevin Harrington from Shark Tank was telling me, you got to do video. And we've invested into it, and it grows. You may not go viral overnight, but every little bit helps. All you need, as in the words of Gary Vaynerchuk, you need one person to watch your video to have an impact. If nobody watches, okay, but one person is more than none. If you get one new person a day, just think about how the difference is going to be impacted in 30 days, 60 days, a year, and years beyond that. So check out Rob's channel out there. Connect with him. I've learned a ton of stuff from him, so it's always nice to have. He may know this, but he's a mentor to me. on what he's sharing on a regular basis. So I picked up some nuggets. Take what he used, start playing around with it. And I really believe YouTube is where it's at for a lot of us, for growing our audience, connecting with investors, connecting with funders, and raising capital and making things happen out there. So go out, take some action, buddy, and we'll see you all at the top, everybody. Bye.